him being terrified about his sisters, which is a good thing. But this is where I'm coming from, right? Like you said, you never used to be this man. You're gonna also let other people. You're gonna also let other people make their mistakes. Your sister's gonna make their own mistakes. When I look at my sisters and how life juggles with them, and how life juggles with me too, we all came into this world separate, and we're gonna go separately. I can only say, yo, I think you're making a mistake going down that route. But if you choose to make that mistake, that's on you. That's on you.
Thank you.
I mean, we all gotta make mistakes,
but there are a lot of good actors too. So
exactly.
I mean,
there are a lot of good actors, and they know how they prey on people who have good intentions, who have good hearts, and they know what to say, how to say it to get them to do what they need them to do.
Very true.
So sometimes it's not always your fault.
Experience.
No. Sorry. Unfortunately, you do have to go through it a couple times to realize that this is what I'm attracting. So let me do something different.
Yourself.
All I know is everybody's heart gonna be broken at least once or twice. What matters is how you're gonna bounce from that. Now, if you want to sit down and drown yourself in sorrow, by all means, be my guest. But if you want to learn from that mistake, if you want to see that, if for example, women say, I keep attracting the wrong guy. Like, okay, change your habit. Change whatever it is that's making you attractive people. Change it. Just don't sit there and keep moping or keep crying about. What do you want me to do?
Correct.
Call God. 1-800 God. Yo, she keeps attracting the wrong guy. Please help her.
I mean, come on, maybe.
Come on now.
You can say a prayer for your sisters too. Help them.
Can you repeat that number? I need God on speed. But that's actually part of the problem.
What?
People are looking for men to solve their problems, and really they should be looking at God.
And people are looking for women to solve their problems. Actually, they should be looking.
Ooh, come on now.
But that's a point of that's where I think someone talked about wholeness. You have to be whole before. You're not looking for completion. I think Maneh, you said that.
Someone said that women don't complete men. We compliment.
Should compliment each other.
Yeah.
So going back again to a point you make, right, in terms of men not being mature. Okay. 50-50. Here's why. Don't look at me. Here's why, right? Of course, we want to be in a certain tax bracket. Let me put it that way. Tax bracket. To be able to say, you know what? I want to get married. Also, too, I'm looking at the woman, too. It's not just all me, because this is a partnership. So if, for example, the girl I'm dating, if she's still in college, what business I apply? And I'm in college, what business I have for us to get married? Why should I even do that? But that's just my own opinion. So now...
Let him finish talking.
Reason again? It's 50-50 because of what reason again?
I'm looking at mental. I'm looking at finances. I'm thinking of children. They're not cheap. They're very expensive. I'm also thinking about my parents, her parents. When my parents get to a certain age, do I want them to keep working? Nope. There's so many factors that play in this.
So you think you can find the security in that? But how? How can you guarantee that security? Like, how do
There's
you?
no guarantee to it.
So
But I can be realistic. I can say that, you know what? I'm here, and
this is where.
But that's now.
We all set short-term and long-term goals, right?
Yeah.
So in this like marriage, like when we speak of marriage, you don't set short and long-term goals to it.
Okay, but then what if you don't achieve those short-term and long-term?
Then you're not ready to
you're
get
not ready to
married.
get married.
Oh,
So
don't say that.
I think that if that's the guy's choice, respect it. If he's not ready to get married, if he's not having 6 figures,
and then don't come to me. Then don't come to me and tell me anything.
But this is something.
But once again, there's qualities in you that I saw in you that make you.
But this is another
Let me
thing.
tell you.
I think communication.
I committed X amount of years to you.
So I think communication is a big thing. Say what you want in the beginning. Yeah,
exactly.
That's one thing. And in a relationship, if you see that things are not necessarily going the right way, like I feel like couples need to learn how to communicate effectively
and
check in, right? Because the thing about it is like, okay, you're going, and the guy can be like, oh yeah, baby, I love you. We're gonna get married one day. You're like, okay. No, at one time you really have to like sit down there and say, okay, listen, we need to have a conversation.
Correct.
These are my expectations.
Correct.
are you able to fulfill them?
Correct.
And because you should be able to know your partner enough to really know whether or not he's being 100% truthful with you, and whether or not he's bullshitting you. And you're
very correct. And that's the problem in this generation, because nobody wants to speak the truth from day one. Yeah. Either the women are scared because they say, oh, they'll push the man away, he's gonna run away, or I agree 100. Communicate from day one.
There's something called the unknown.
But this is the thing. Even if there's no communication from day one, sometime in that relationship, a communication should happen, because I feel like that's another problem. You'll get there. 5 years are going by, 6 years, 7 years, 10 years.
Why does
you're just sitting there?
Why does it have to be sometime? Okay, let me ask you this, right? Let me ask you this. Do you believe that? Let's say, okay, you and I will go on our first date. I can sit there and open up to you, but there is no way you will do the same.
Yeah. Because
so now, at what point would you start opening up to me?
When I'm comfortable.
What is comfortable?
Well, her guard is there when she.
When is that?
Comfortable to say what though? What are you looking for? What are you asking? What questions are you asking? And okay.
I said, okay, you want me to know you, right? But then you're holding.
This is my thing. This is my thing. I 100% believe that you're not gonna sit there and tell me everything on the first date.
Well,
great.
But you can
that's
say
your one. You can. So this is my thing. This is my thing, because of how times are right now, stuff like that. I honestly do not think that you should be sitting there telling somebody everything about you when you just met them. Don't do that, because people use that against you. And it's like a vulnerability thing. If I sit here and tell you oh my goodness, she used to cheat on me, you're gonna do. And another thing is that a female should be mysterious to a certain amount, to a certain point, I'm not about to sit here and spill out everything that I want from you, because you're going to sit there and act like what I want. Yeah. And then once I've fallen into that trap, you're going to turn into something else. And then I'm now stuck dang it, time. I feel like men and women, because, sometimes there's women like that. They're going to sit there, so women know how to be very cunning and get all the information that they want from you. And, they'll reel you in. And then the second that you're in, they'll start acting how to do it. But because you're already emotionally invested in them, it's a whole nother situation. So I feel like both of you guys need to get to a point to where you're both comfortable to talk to each other. And that's the thing. If you're not comfortable to talk to each other and communicate, then if you're my friend and you come to me, I'm going to be looking at you but did you talk to this person about it? And if you're going to say no, I'll be so you really can't complain if it didn't happen. Yeah. And that's how I feel. Now, it's not me trying to be rude or be a bitch or nothing. No, it's not. It's really just me hey, if you don't sit there and say what you want and you don't get it, you can't have expectations. You can't read my mind. Yeah. Correct. Okay, if I'm sitting there okay, next year we're going to get married. Oh, does that? Okay, next year. Okay, next year.
Every day is
so,
next year.
Let me get this straight. Yeah. Again, you said you're not going to tell me everything on the first day, which it never happens anyways. Let's just say we've been talking, right? And all of a sudden a year passed. Then on that...
First of all, I won't talk to you for a year.
Nowadays generations are defined by two different things.
I'm just saying, just hypothetically speaking. Okay. Right? On 366 day, you tell me, 2 years ago, 2 years ago, I was wild. I once had a train ran on me.
Oh,
just putting hold up now.
That's just her being truthful.
Do you think such information stays hidden forever?
It should be.
Yeah.
Why would you tell me that?
Why would I tell you?
Why would you let me wanna? And I'm just playing devil advocate to what you said.
How is that important in the relationship?
Yeah. It is important.
It's my past.
Wait.
Why would it be important? Let me tell you something.
Wait.
You tell a man that kind of information, you guys get an argument, he will bring it back. Oh, that's like running train on your ass in high school. You lose. No, I'm not telling you that to use what you use against me.
Again. So, AK, I think you're not getting my point. My point is this. My point is have 100% transparency and clear and what you want, what your expectations are. If you say, I want to be married in the next 3 years, make sure that your partner knows that. So he's going to make the conscious decision of, okay, if I'm going into this thing, I know that this is what this girl's expecting. She's expecting marriage within the next 3 years. If you know that even if you might think at the time, okay, I can do that, right? But if you're leaning towards those 3 years and you don't see it happening, please, my brother, break up with her.
And I think you guys are saying two different things. You can say what your expectations are without telling your life story in the beginning.
So
never said say your life story.
No, that's what he wanted to.
You crazy? I'm not telling you my life story. You can. I'm not telling you my life story. You
not.
I don't even want to know what
your
you
aim
did.
is to get married, if your aim is to get married, why shouldn't you?
Eventually,
no.
We're talking about in the beginning.
Okay, time out. Let me ask you another question. Right? Hold on now. You guys are biting too much. Hold on.
Okay.
Let's just say we're about to get married.
Okay.
All of a sudden, one of your girlfriends come and say, "Oh yeah, that girl, remember that one time? Yeah, such, AKA used to do this and that. Oh, before y'all got together, we can't have sex. Before y'all got together, he had sex with that girl.
Happening.
Okay.
And I did not tell you. How would you feel about that?
I'll be fine.
Hearing from somebody else. You're gonna be who?
I'll be fine.
I need
because
the keyword said before.
Before
we got together. You're using keywords before.
Yes.
This friend of yours that we all be hanging out never told you.
But it was.
Wait.
But he should have.
So she comes to our house and we're chilling, but you never said anything.
Yeah, you should have said something too.
If it doesn't concern
you, it was my past.
This is my thing.
So
if I met with one of your friends and I didn't tell you, you wouldn't feel some kind of way?
Did I say I was not going to?
Okay.
I already know.
Okay, then it's the same thing.
No.
Okay,
you said that.
okay.
No, she shouldn't.
Okay, this is how I feel. This is how I feel about that situation, right? Again, it comes with the transparency and stuff like that. You should be if you should kind of be like, I don't like it if a girl had a train ran on her. I don't like it if a girl slept with my partner and stuff like that. Now, if the girl, you should be able to communicate that with the girl. You should I think that the man should be able to tell the girl the stuff that he like. Oh no, I don't want no girl who doesn't mess with every guy. Blah 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 blah. Now, if the girl,
on the first date,
not the first date. No, not the first date.
Go ahead. After you. Go ahead. No. All right. So this is what I feel. Right. Mm-hmm. First, there's a few things with this whole topic, right? About indulging or exposing your past, right? First of all, most likely, when it comes to females, most likely men have done their Carfax already on a woman, especially if they're interested. So most of the information is already is known. No, seriously, it's known. And if it's not already,
she said we're not cars.
So you want me to say whole facts?
No, just say.
No, not that either.
No, exactly.
We've done our research.
We've done the research.
Yeah.
So we've done the research based on the individual, right?
Yes.
As such, I'm assuming the same thing women have done, right?
Absolutely.
On the man. Okay, fine, right? So some slips get through, right? You're in your relationship. Everything is copacetic. It's fine. Now, I'm now comfortable enough to the point to say, this is what I like. This is what I don't like. Outside of just that first year getting to know each other. Now I'm getting to the nitty gritty. You expect me to indulge information that says, you know what? This is something that she told me that she doesn't like. You expect me to validate that information? You expect me to validate information that I slept with your friend? You expect me to now understand that you slept with my friend, which I probably already know, but you slept with my friend or something to that extent, and now you expect me to kind of let the relationship continue forward.
I just have a question. What are we really?
Right, my question is why are these things coming up in the relationship though?
Because see, wait.
Why you want to know what I did before I met you?
No, but I think it's important. If it happens with someone that you both have a relationship with, you need to be honest. Please, let's get real. We need to know. And if you choose to follow through with the relationship after knowing, then okay. But it should not be coming way later. And if you choose to stay or leave after that, that's still your prerogative. Like, it's okay. Right, but you need to discuss that beforehand.
Cool. We're gonna leave now. Last say. Next topic, because we've been swimming on that one too much. But anyways, sex before marriage, or not before sex before marriage. Let's say you're dating somebody, right?
This is a whole episode by itself.
Listen, you guys are dating for like 2-3 years, and you're hoping to get married in the 4th year. Would you do come and stay before you marry?
Will you what?
Absolutely
do
not.
come and stay. So I want to see who you are. Come and stay. Like,
okay.
Cohabitate.
Okay, so
will you cohabitate before?
Would you live together?
Yeah.
Sis.
So I don't know. With me, in this situation, I'm very confused. Like, on one hand, I would want to do it because I really feel like it shows me who you are. Like, I'm if I come and I stay with you, I'm going to know if you're dirty, how you act, how you like, and see if there's some things that I don't like before we get married. Now, if I do it, on the other hand, most men tend to get comfortable with the fact that, oh, okay, she's already here. They get most of the time
No, like she said, what are you
doing? No, but most of the time when you're in the house, they're just like, okay, she's already here. You know what I'm saying? So it to me, it's really kind of I don't know.
Okay, so you said something.
Huh?
You said stayed with a man. How do you know?
Have I stayed with a man?
Yes.
I didn't necessarily stay with a man, but I always used to go over to my ex's house and sleep over, and I would see some things that I did not like.
And you got comfortable because
I didn't get comfortable. I was like, this is not gonna work. Either you change this, or I'm out. He didn't change it, so now I'm out.
Easy.
You said two things, and that's why I'm always confused. Anyways, you said two things. You said sex before marriage and cohabitation.
No, I said before sex before marriage. We're talking about
cohabitation.
And then now we could talk about the whole sex before marriage.
I think everybody does that already.
Don't say everybody.
I'm not saying everybody. I think a good percentage of people engage in premarital sex.
Yeah.
I personally do not think there's anything wrong with premarital sex. I'm scared.
Okay, so
but no.
So we're done with the conversation of cohabitating before marriage.
No, I mean, that too. I think it's healthy to cohabitate with someone prior to getting married or engaged. I think once you get engaged, it's acceptable to cohabitate, or at least start looking to cohabitate, because you want to essentially get to know who you're living with and what the things that they do, the nature that they behave in, because there's other parts and aspects of that will allow you to love the person fully. I think that you truly don't know a person until you know everything about them, the way they sleep, the way they eat, the way they act, the way they move, the way everything, it all goes back to that. But yes, there's nothing wrong with premarital sex. I think a good percentage of the population on earth engage in premarital sex. And I think there's nothing wrong. Yes, quote unquote, according to the Bible, it is sinful, but I think that it has widely been accepted in culture.
So my whole thing.
Just because
make it right.
Exactly. Thank you. That's what I was gonna say.
Look, if I go still, it's a sin. If I do marriage before sex, it's a sin, which is practically the same thing.
So
it means you're justifying sin.
I'm not justifying. I'm just saying that. Why are you going to hold me in high regards to something where you're not holding me in high regards to the other thing? Keep the same energy. If you tell me that I'm sitting here, hold me that I'm sitting here too.
I think as a Christian we have convictions when we lie or do. Yes, we do.
No, just
we do.
When it comes to that,
if you try following scriptures,
when it comes to that,
convicted.
people are full of shit.
Okay.
Point blank.
I think I think
Yes.
to a certain degree, Ike is right. People hold sex as a higher sin than
there's a lot of things in the Bible that we're not supposed to be doing. No.
Yes, it's death.
Okay, so I'm alive. I have sex. If I still, all of us would just die, basically.
Okay, so this is my thing.
But
this is my thing.
So you tell me you don't want to know what that experience is like before.
Hold on. This is my thing about premarital sex. I feel like premarital sex really depends on what your beliefs are. If you are somebody who you don't believe in having premarital sex, don't do it. If you're somebody who you want to indulge in, personally, I don't think anybody. But again, this is how I feel. I don't be very careful how I say this, because people these days are very sensitive.
Yeah.
I don't think somebody should get married without indulging in sex with their partner at least once. And this is why I say that. Okay,
come on.
You can get into it. Thank you. This is the one thing you don't want to do. You don't want to get into the marriage, and because it's a thing. You don't have premarital sex, but you kind of you as humans you know, you feel some type of things. You watch stuff. You feel like you know, you kind of know what you're interested in. You don't want to get into the marriage and then see that your husband
cannot perform.
So what you're telling me,
right? That pinky. I saw that pinky.
Wait.
What
you I said in front of your bed like this.
And I have a question. I'm not trying to be holier than thou because I've done things. But what you're telling me is that you believe God for every other thing, but you not believe that God would give you a man that will satisfy you sexually.
No, then again,
there's certain things that you don't.
So this is the thing.
Certain things that you don't go to God for. No, I personally can go to God and be like, God, please make my husband sexual.
No. This is again, but that's why I said
sexual satisfaction has nothing to do with the size of the man.
No. This is what I'm saying.
Because I
this
saw
is what
you
I'm.
use your.
Hold on. This is what I'm saying about. What I'm saying is again, I'm saying that it depends on your beliefs. If you believe not to do it, don't do it. Okay. If you want, like, I personally believe that if you, especially if you know you're gonna get married to somebody, please try it. Because there's something that you might like that he doesn't like. This, and it doesn't necessarily have to be his penis size. Maybe he likes fellatio.
My thing is
maybe you don't like fellatio.
Maybe he has a higher sex drive. Maybe you don't.
Yeah. So,
you know, he might want sex a certain
he might
amount
be
of
a
time,
crazy person.
And that's
into
every other thing.
My man said Carfax, right? I want the woman to take me.
Can we just stop this
nonsense?
What?
He's a fool, man.
I'm just saying, man. Take me with that.
Because this is my thing, and I'm going to tell you,
we are not.
I'm going to tell you a true story. I know something. Hold on, let me tell you. Hold on. Let me tell you a true story. I know this girl. She was a virgin. She got married. Her boyfriend too was also
a virgin.
Yeah, both.
That's best case scenario.
Both of them were virgins. Okay, now the thing about it is like he's a virgin, she's a virgin. They got married. They now indulged in sex. Okay, both of them, they're in Christ their way. I'm not gonna judge them however way they're in Christ. They're in Christ their way, but then down the line they started to understand like I want something like they wanted to have like another experience. And I mean, again, this is a true story. So it got to a point where the man he started doing his thing, and the girl, she started doing her thing. It happens, with some people. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that's the truth for everybody or that's what's gonna happen to everybody. But yeah, so I'm not saying.
And there are a lot of Christian couples who are not satisfied sexually. So just because you feel like God ordained your marriage does not mean that you'll be happy in the bedroom.
But even the ones who are not Christian couples are still not satisfied sexually.
Exactly, which is why you need to experiment before.
So experiment does not guarantee. Experiment does not guarantee sexual satisfaction. I think sexual satisfaction.
It doesn't if you settle. It doesn't if you settle. If you know what you want.
If
you know what you want.
Let me ask you a question. You met a man who has great principles, hardworking, intelligent, has all the qualities.
Come on.
You want a man.
Okay.
And because he's not satisfying you like that, you will say bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Do you know that you learn your every day you learn your Jesus. Because when you're having sex with somebody, you teach the person what you like.
But you have to have something. It's not even that. But let me tell you something. You can have a husband, right? Maybe there's some things that you like. Let's say there's some things that you do like, or there's some things that you try. That doesn't necessarily mean that your husband's gonna be open to it.
And sexual drive is also
and that's another thing. Let me tell you, one of the biggest things in marriage is sex.
Biggest thing in marriage is sex.
One of the biggest
and finances.
One of the biggest thing in marriage is sex. If you and your partner have to be able to satisfy each other, it's not a one-sided thing.
Because this thing is for life.
Because especially if you don't want your partner to
if
stray.
You prioritize sex. There's some people who don't prioritize sex. If sex is not a big deal for you, then you can date somebody with whatever. That's your business.
And you have businesses, there are times where you will not have the sex. Let's be real here. There are couples that go for months without having sex. Now, I'm not saying it's the right thing to do.
But that one time when
that's the reality of certain people.
And that's because both of them don't have high sex drives, and that's okay. Yeah. But if you are partnered with somebody who has a higher sex drive than you, that's going to be a problem.
My libido is high.
But okay, then you need somebody that matches your libido.
But the thing is, I still see that there is important. It's very, very important to keep yourself to marriage. Did I keep myself? No. But
it's okay.
Because I feel like the thing is when you connect with somebody. That's why we have this Okay, when a woman has sex with a man, we secrete what they call oxytocin, right?
Yeah, oxytocin.
That makes you have a false love. You're not really actually in love, but you have this false love. And then from a spiritual standpoint, you connect with that person. That's why sometimes when you have sex with a guy whose life is down, your life goes down. There's a whole different level of spiritual connection.
Then when you're down, it's up.
Ebot, it comes to the point where it goes back to my point of it depends on your beliefs.
No,
That's how you feel.
I agree.
Me, I know people who they don't even care about that. Oh, it's a sin, whatever, and they'll do it. You know, I don't want to say it's unfortunate, not unfortunate, because again, that's how they feel. You know. Now, if you personally feel like sex before marriage is bad and you will not do it and you don't condemn it,
it's not what I feel, because what I feel, I will do it every day. It's about what God wants me as a Christian.
If that's your belief,
because that is our core stand. That's our standard. I have no standard. I have only a godly standard. So me, I want to do every day, but what I have learned in having sex before marriage, it leaves me empty. Now I enjoy it, but it leaves me empty.
And that's you.
That's your experience. That's your truth.
No, and it's okay. Again, I try to validate everybody's experience. That is your experience. And
I just got a question.
This is Nancy.
Yes, it's okay.
This is Nancy.
This is Nancy. She's right.
Go ahead, Barack.
There's some people
what
who
Barack
if you're in a
wants to say.
loving relationship where you feel like you're sexually compatible with somebody, you probably won't feel empty. But if you do,
Mama, as a Christian,
You mean spiritually empty or
my dear, if we want to get into
yeah,
Christianity, that's a whole nother thing. Because there's a lot of things the Bible tells us not to do that we do on a daily basis, but there's some things that we leverage over others. You said what?
Azeez.
But Barack wants to say something. I want to hear a man's opinion.
Does sex really guarantee us happiness?
No.
What?
For some people, it's part of their happiness.
No.
Some people hold it to a
Higher standard. It depends on what.
Then-
It depends on what level you hold it to.
No, but you're not answering the question. Does
No,
it
it
guarantee?
No, everything
Nothing
is
doesn't
fleeting.
guarantee.
Everything is
Nothing is
honestly
guaranteed.
fleeting. Yeah.
Well,
Everything is
You
fleeting.
just answered the question. Thank you.
So, before I round this up, this side of the room is awfully quiet. Maneh, Azeez, what are you guys' thoughts before we close this?
I'm ready for the popcorn with Azeez.
Sex before marriage.
I think to each his own.
Amen.
The way you support it.
No, it's simple. It's very simple.
Yeah.
Is the reality that we're living
Just
in
like
that's
what
not
governs
true?
you. What
Yeah.
governs you governs you.
What governs you?
You know what you think?
I mean, it's the same thing everybody's saying. It depends on each person and what they think should happen.
Azeez.
All eyes on
Bring it home.
Okay, so I don't judge anybody, right?
Yes.
I will never judge anybody. I've been on both sides of the fence, and I'm open about everything, as you can see. The 7-year drill.
Five.
So
It's not a joke.
it's not a joke, right? Whatever it is to people, it really happened, and that's my reality, and I accept it. So sex is dangerous for many reasons.
Hold on, let me explain.
Just like she just said, there's a spiritual covenant that you make with a person that you don't even understand. There's an emotional covenant and there's a physical covenant. You literally can sleep with a person that you never really know. And we just talked about earlier that you might be with a person for 7 years and not even understand them. But you're laying in bed with that person. Now let's give examples, right? You sleep with this person that you dated for a long time. And then all of a sudden you wake up and you're dealing with anger and anxiety, and you've never had that issue in your life, and you don't understand where it's coming from.
Correct.
Soul ties.
Correct.
It's a serious thing, and it really, really happens. And I think if people really understood the collateral damage that they were doing to themselves, they wouldn't sin. And sex is one of the biggest sins that the Bible talks about. I like sex.
Oh yes.
Oh yes! Oh yes!
Your mother is watching, okay?
Oh yes!
Your mother is watching.
I love it.
The reaction was crazy.
Breakfast or lunch?
Oh yes!
Was that what you're trying to do?
Okay.
I don't reaction.
Okay, man, calm down.
But keep me out my time for next time.
I like sex, but I can attest to the things that have happened since I've decided to refrain from sex. And it's real. When you decide to drop everything and follow Jesus and walk upright, literally your life changes and things go from where you were to
What is
where you were
crime,
supposed to be.
sir? Jesus Christ.
I'm emotional.
I love
What's wrong with you?
Love strong.
You know what? I need to
I'm thinking here, my God.
wrap this up, yo. I had so many comments. I had so many comments.
The spirit is in this house.
Right?
Alright, continue.
I mean, ultimately, it's each person's decision, right? What they choose to do in their personal life. I'm just saying, follow Jesus and do the right thing. Because ultimately, you're doing more damage than good when you decide to do these things.
Okay.
Ebot, have you met Azeez?
I don't. My only, and trust me, I identify as Christian. Jesus is also my teacher, my savior. I understand, but I want us to be careful when we talk about sex as something being dangerous, when you use those terms as synonymous with sex. It gives it this really scary and negative connotation, and it's not true. Sex is a beautiful thing.
Okay, so
sex is a gift from God, and soul ties are also very subjective for some people. If you are that's why you need to screen people before you get with them, before you open yourself up to them. And not just because you're married does not mean you're having sacred sex. Just because you're married does not mean you're having godly sex. So
what do you mean? Just because you're married, you're not having godly sex?
Yes. So there are cases in which when people are married, there's marital rape. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. There are people who get abused in their marriages. And just because you're married does not mean you're having loving and sacred sex. So you can have soul ties with someone that you are married to. Someone can bring anxiety into your spirit that you are married to. Someone can bring depression into your spirit that you are married to. So just because you have this piece of paper does not mean you can't experience the same things that you would outside of marriage, right? So I just want us to be careful when we talk about sex, especially premarital sex, as being this scary thing, as being a thing dangerous and damnation. Yes, there are consequences to everything. With sex, with marriage, with love, there's consequences to everything. And you just make sure that you know who you are getting in bed with. That's it.
I totally agree with what I understand where you're coming from, and I understand the whole, marital rape and things like that, which we should not tolerate. However, coming back to what the covenant of sex is under the prescription of marriage, if that makes sense. And then coming back to what he's saying, well, see, far from Christianity, even as a Muslim, they respect that. Even those who are Buddhists respect that. They respect the secretness in sex, in marriage. Now,
that's not always true, but I hear what you're saying. That's not always true in the Bible, but I hear what you're saying.
Okay.
So I was just going to say that it's not me talking. Everything that I'm saying is literally backed in the Word. So we can actually go to the Word for confirmation as well.
Definitely.
And you're right, actually. You can be in marriage and still have soul ties when you marry the wrong person, right? So my question is, what's your process?
Making sure that you're evaluating the person that you are getting with.
And how do you do that?
Before
prayer, you just
What guarantees that?
even beyond prayer, I think we need to read patterns. I think too often we as humans ignore red flags. People will blatantly do stuff that do not coincide with your spirit, that are not reflective of God and God's spirit, and you still choose to live with that person. That's your own faults. That's your own business. Whatever comes after that, that's on you. That's on you, and we blame it on you saw this person's spirit before you got into bed with them. Like, just give people time and watch their patterns.
Well, with that said, I'd like to cut this conversation right here because we're gonna be here all night, and a lot of us, working people, so people gotta go work in the morning. So we're gonna pick this up again. I appreciate each and every one of you for coming through. Participate in this conversation. Let's give ourselves a round of applause. Amazing. Once again, I'm here with, my homegirl Nhimba, my homeboy Barack, Ebot, Ma, Nancy, Charles, Vanessa, Maneh, and of course Azeez. I'm your host, Uncle AK, and then we out.
Man, this was powerful.